So in today's lesson we're again looking at algebraic fractions. Today we're looking at how we divide algebraic fractions to again form a single simplified algebraic fraction. And because we are combining our rules of algebra, specifically multiplying terms in algebra when we're dealing with dividing fractions, together with our rules for actually dividing fractions, I'm going to do a quick recap on what happens if we were actually to just simply divide two fractions, okay, because the rules are essentially the same. So if I was to look at the first example, a over 2 divided by 2 over 3. So this is an algebraic fraction divided by an ordinary fraction. We're following the same rules if we were just dividing two fractions. So again, there are previous videos that you can go over if you're unsure about that, but I'll do a quick recap here. For example, if I was to divide 1/3 by 2/5, first step is what we remember as KFC, which is keep, flip, change, as in we keep the first fraction the same, flip the second, and we change the sign from a divide to a multiply. And then because it's just a multiplying sum, we multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. So to very quickly just show you on this straightforward question. So 1/3 divided by 2/5, so keep, flip, change, keep the first fraction so it stays as 1/3, flip the second, 2/5 becomes 5 over 2. Change the divide to multiply, and then we just multiply numerators and multiply denominators. So 1 times 5 is 5, 3 times 2 is 6. Simplify if needed, but in this case 5, 6 does not simplify, okay? And we are going to do a wee bit of simplification of the algebraic fractions one as well, so we'll see that as we work through the examples. So to apply the same logic to our first example here, a over 2 divided by 2/3. So because it's a dividing question, keep the first fraction the same. So a over 2 stays as a over 2. Flip the second, 2/3 becomes 3 over 2. Divide becomes multiply. Multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators. So now it's our rules of multiplying terms in algebra. So a times 3 is just 3a. And 2 times 2 on the bottom is just 4. And there's nothing there that simplifies. When we simplify the coefficients of the letter exactly the same. So there's nothing that goes into both 3 and 4 except 1, which we wouldn't divide by because it won't change it. And there's no letters that we can see that are the same both top and bottom. So moving on to the second example. So I've got 4b over 9c divided by 6b over 7. So let's keep, flip, change. So keep the first fraction the same, so it stays as 4b over 9c. Flip the second, so 6b over 7 becomes 7 over 6b. And change the sign from a divide to a multiply. So now multiply the numerators. 4b times 7 gives me 28b. It's actually 7 4s. 7 4s are 28, plus 28b. On the bottom, so we've got 9c by 6b, so 9 times 6, 9 6s are 54. And on the bottom, c times b is just bc. Okay, so the first thing I can do, well, because I've got a b top and bottom, I can cancel those out, because b divided by b is 1, so they cancel each other out. Now, if I'm to look at the 28 and the 54, think, okay, so I can definitely simplify 28 and 54 by finding a common factor. If you can't spot the largest one right away, and I mean you can use your calculator for these if you want, I can certainly spot the top and bottom will divide by 2. So if I divide the top one by 2, I get 14, okay, and I divide the bottom by 2, I get 27c, okay. Now beyond that, there's no common factor of both 14 and 27. 2 doesn't go into 27, 7 goes into 14 but not 27, so that is as far as that one will simplify. So that indeed is my final answer. So don't forget to see if there's letters that we can cancel out, top and bottom, and also if there's anything we can divide the coefficients of each terms by. Alright, we'll do one more example. Okay, so cd over 4 divided by 2c over d. So let's keep, flip, change. So keep the first one the same, cd over 4. Flip the second, becomes d over 2c. The divide becomes a multiply. So let's multiply the top terms. So cd times d, and again, it's just multiplying terms in algebra. So cd d times d becomes cd squared. Again, if you're a wee bit unsure about multiplying terms in algebra, make sure to watch the previous video on that. On the bottom, 4 times 2c gives me 8c. So there's no numerical value that we can divide. Coefficient up here be 1 and 8 by, because 1 can only be divided by 1. So the 8 stays. There's a c top and bottom, so we can cancel those out. So what I'm left with is d squared over 8. Okay, that's as far as we'll go today, but we'll make another video with harder equations involving these, and where we will also have to apply FOIL to multiplying out brackets, because as you can see there's quite a bit of multiplying terms in these questions. I'll post some questions to have a go at, and anything you're unsure about, just ask.